add to that success of the leadership. I think also a leader demonstrating that they have concern or compassion towards the people on their team. I think when people feel like their leader is listening to them and being supporting, like you were talking about the team making sure that they have each other's back, I think they need to feel the leader has that as well. And I think if the leader demonstrates that, that will manifest within the team itself.
Absolutely, and that's the shared vision. They let them buy in. The leader let them put the code of behavior so they feel valued, they feel they are important. You know, they feel, and remember we said the leader in the beginning, they have to be accountable and responsible for whenever I led teams and I was a project manager for anything, if anything went wrong, I would always take the blame from anybody and I would try to fix it and then I would talk to my team. And I would never blame them. I would never say, oh my God, you did something wrong. No, I have to understand why it happened so it won't happen again.
Right.
We are all human, we all do mistakes. And it's okay, it's a learning process, it's a learning curve that we go through. You know, but I need to be, as a team leader, I need to be very responsible for my team. And if my team feel they are protected, they will go to the end of the world to do anything for me or for a leader. If they feel they are protected. Exactly your point there. There are three kinds of cultures, again, inside, middle, outside. Inside is the individual culture, the outside is the national culture of the country or of the region that we're in, and then the corporate culture of the company that encompasses all teams that they are working in. And the best way to work is to align the three together. It's not an easy task, but it is achievable. Culture versus strategy. Culture will eat strategy any day for lunch. What does that mean? Meaning that a company can have all the strategy in the world, all the planning on paper, all the goals and vision and mission and core values that all the corporations have. It means nothing if their culture is not assigned with that. I was doing a workshop for a few years ago for 100 Fortune company. It's one of the very well-known companies. And they claim that diversity is in their DNA. I walk into the workshops, and the first rows are reserved for the executives and CEO. The rows after that were for directors. After that, the managers. After that, anybody else. So you tell me how this is diversity. They have the strategy, they have the workshops, they have the training, they have the mission and the vision, but what their culture is. And that's what's important. Culture will eat strategy anytime for much. Effective leadership. An effective leader has to balance how to be sensitive and empathetic to people and feel like you said that they are people, and how to pull the ropes when it's important to do that. How to align the whole benefit of the company to the benefit of the individuals. They have to do a very hard balance. How to have a loose leadership and a tight leadership. It's like how to be cross-functionally expert and how to be just expert in what they do. And by the way, leaders don't have to know everything and don't have to have the skills for everything. But a smart leader is the leader that will have in their team powers and skills that will complement each other to be at the end a very strong team. Art of persuasion. This is number one in any leader. And Aristotle said something that was very powerful many moons ago. And he said, to persuade anybody, you have to do ethos, pathos, and logos. What does that mean? Ethos means you have to have a credibility. Ethos like ethics. You have to have credibility so people can start trusting you. You have to have pathos, emotions, meaning that when you have credibility, you're going to be able to talk to the emotions and feelings of the people, and you're going to like enlighten them on what you do, and they're going to be like following you with no problem. And then logos, meaning that you persuade them with your actions. So ethos must always come first. You appeal to pathos, which are the emotions, and then you back your argument with logos. Without ethos, which are ethics, leadership does not exist. If a leader is not ethical, they cannot be called a leader, and there is no leadership. Respect, like I said before.
Well, I'm sorry, you guys, but I like this stuff. So, anyways, but we have had leaders with no ethics, though. Like Hitler,
We had Hitler, we had Saddam Hussein, we had Gaddafi.
You know what I'm saying? So, but we have leaders. I mean, so they were leaders and they were effective.
These are what we call toxic leaders.
Right. So, but this last slide, well, I was just tacking on to what you're saying that you can't have a leader, but a toxic leader we result with that.
But are they really considered leaders?
For those who follow them, externally maybe not, but
exactly.
But within that culture, within that small circle.
If you remember, even in Hitler, remember Valkyrie, the story of Valkyrie?
Mm-hmm.
How many people around him wanted to kill him?
Right.
And there were people that were really close to him. And whoever is around these toxic leaders, like around the Gaddafi people now, are people that are scared of him. Saddam Hussein, people were scared of him because if someone would disagree with him, the first thing you do, you go.
Well, but you can talk about Saddam. He was a leader before he became a crazy man, or he was a leader, and he created a huge following.
But was the following because they believed in him and in his vision, or because they were scared?
Well, I think initially they probably believed in him. That's kind of how he got there. Or maybe he was scared, I don't know. Maybe I'm just talking out my ass, but But what I'm getting at is that I think we have more toxic leaders
and that's why there is a difference between. If you remember, we did at BNLP, we did like almost half of a session, a full day. That's what we did in St. Joseph about toxic leaders. Because yes, there are leaders that are toxic, like we said, like Hitler, like the South Korea, Ping Pong, or I can't say his name properly. All these are toxic leaders.
I think with something like that, which, using Hitler as an example, you really have to look at ethics and morals, with something like that. I see it more as brainwashing.
Yes. Yeah, it is. Actually, it's like a cult. It was like a cult, Yes.
Well,
and I also think that for some of the followers of these toxic leaders, they had some kind of credibility to them. For these followers.
Yes.
So when we talk about ethics and morals, for some of these followers, they were being ethical. They were being the ones to follow. Toxic? No, they were right, and nobody was going to tell them otherwise.
Exactly.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think it's again, it's all relative. Like one man's revolutionary is another man's enemy. So it's all relative.
And that's how they're going to go into history. Yes, they are considered leaders by some, but how they're going to go down in history. Look even at the presidents that we had. Just by looking at their track record, we can tell how they're going to go down in history. We don't know. We will wait, for history to come in. We will wait for history to come and talk about all these people. That's why it's important for a leader to care about their legacy and how they're going to go. Even as human beings, as each single person of us, I personally care about my legacy. I personally care about my credibility. I care about how people think about me. That doesn't mean that I'm going to necessarily be try to please everybody. No, but at least I will stand
be at peace with yourself.
Beliefs and my morals, and I will be assertive in what I believe in.
I agree.
So everybody, I guess, it's a legacy, and either they go as a good leader or as a toxic or a bad leader, like I said. In everything there are good and bad. Respect. Respect is, like I said before, we don't have to accept